Hi, I'm David Shukoff, Director of Education at Manhattan Theater Club, and welcome to this next segment of MTC Education's online family drama playwriting series. This series is intended for families watching at home together, as well as for individual high school students and teachers watching alone or with friends and colleagues online. The topic for today is dramatic openings, and we're going to start with a little game. So, I'm going to share with you 3 clips from recent MTC productions, the opening scenes, the very openings, and for each one, I want you to answer 2 questions. First, what's going to happen next? And second, what's going to happen eventually? That is to say, what's the play going to be about? Now you can do this as a little competition with individual players or teams of 2 or whatever. The first clip is from David Lindsay Abair's Good People, the very opening scene. So let's watch.
Yeah. Did she ever tell you the turkey story? Up at Flanagan's?
No.
When I worked up there and she came in, she never told you the turkey story?
I don't think so.
She was pregnant with you. No, Jimmy, actually. She was pregnant with Jimmy because your father was locked up in Walpole again, and it was around Christmas, and your father was locked up in Walpole again, and she didn't have any money for anything.
You want to sit down?
She had nothing, except St. Vincent de Paul. Thank God for them.
Okay, so that was the opening of David Lindsay Abair's Good People. And if you haven't done so already, pause the video now and individually or as teams or whatever, write down your answers to the 2 questions. What's going to happen next and what's going to happen eventually? These clips are short, so maybe you want to watch them more than once. And after you've done that, watch the next clip, which is the opening from John Patrick Shanley's Outside Mullingar, and answer the same 2 questions. Okay.
Jesus, what an experience. My heart feels like a stone. It's a physical sensation.
Why did you do it? That's what I want to know.
The whole half of me cut across the shoulders down is horrible. It's grief, that's what it is.
We'd be done with it now if it wasn't for you.
Okay, and now for our third and final dramatic opening. This one is from Bernard Shaw's St. Joan. Same 2 questions. Here we go.
No eggs? Thousand thunders, man, what do you mean by no eggs?
It is not my fault, sir. It is the act of God.
Blasphemy. You tell me there are no eggs and you blame your maker for it?
Sir, what can I do? I cannot lay eggs.
Oh, you're just about it.
For more information about the 3 plays we just looked at, you can check out the PDFs attached to this video and see how close you came to figuring out the answers. But if you got them right, there are 3 possibilities. 1, you're an amazingly lucky guesser. 2, you cheated, or you knew the plays. Or 3, it's a lousy play. I mean, after all, if you were able to figure out how the play was going to come out after watching less than a minute of it, what's the point of sticking around for 2 hours, right? But here's the thing. Here's the important point. If you were willing to tackle the problem, then the playwrights have done their jobs. Good plays compel you to ask consciously or unconsciously what's going to happen next, but keep you in suspense until the very end about the full answer. What is the turkey story, and who is that woman, and why does she want to tell it to the young man she's with in the back alley? What's the experience that made the young man's heart feel like stone? What's the nature of the horrible grief he mentions? Why won't the hens lay eggs? And why are those 2 characters wearing all those funny clothes? A good play grabs your attention and pulls you away from the everyday world of shopping lists and school assignments and plunges you into a set of fictional circumstances that are both murky and compelling. The opening of a play is, in effect, it's a promise that if you stick around, it's going to be worth your while. So, let's try it. Why don't you try it yourself now? Alone or with a partner, write down 2 to 4 lines of dialogue between 2 characters that will open a play. Give the 2 characters names, write down a setting if you'd like, but the main thing is to write down 2 to 4 lines of dialogue that will compel an audience's attention, is a zingy, compelling opening for a play. So don't worry about too much about what's going to happen next. We'll get onto that in the next series. Just write a strong, compelling, zingy opening. And then when you've done that, share your scene with, or pass it to your partners or your other individuals in the room, and have them write down the next 2 to 4 lines of dialogue that keep alive this question of what's going to happen next and keep compelling the audience's attention. Okay, and then when you've done that, share the results, and then come on back and we'll take this another step. So, I hope the exercise of writing dramatic openings was fun, interesting, enlightening. Okay, now I'm going to read 3 opening lines from another MTC production, an exchange between 2 characters. So, here goes. First character. No, you can't do that. How are you going to take my man? Second. I'm going to jump him, fool. First, how are you going to jump him with a man sitting there? That's it. So, what's the situation? Who are those characters? What's going to happen next? Hard to tell from what I read. There's so many possibilities. So now, let's watch this next clip and find out a bit more.
can't do that. How you gonna take my man?
I'm a jumping fool.
How you gonna jump in with the man sitting there? I got a man sitting there. Is you blind?
Well, put him where it belongs then. I didn't see him sitting there. I thought he was on the other square.
Don't you know I was the checker champ of Nam?
Boy, ain't nobody studying you. There, champ that.
So, that scene was from the opening of MTC's 2017 production of August Wilson's Jitney, directed by Ruben Santiago Hudson. The two characters, Youngblood, that's the younger character, is played by Andre Holland, and the older character, Turnbow, by Michael Potts. There's more information about Jitney in the PDF that's attached to this video. I think the clip beautifully illustrates the relationship between the script and the production. The physical production we saw, amplifies the play, opens it up, clarifies it, helps us understand where we are and what the world is like. And I think that's a particularly beautiful example of doing just that. We now know, for example, who the two men are, and of course the fact that they're playing checkers, which wasn't evident from the words alone. So we'll talk more later on in this series about the relationship between production and script. But right now we've been focusing on dramatic openings. But the fact is that plays can't continue indefinitely with compelling visual images and sort of emotionally charged hints of what's going to come. At a certain point, the audience really wants a sense of direction, wants a sense of where we're heading and what's at stake and what the dramatic pathway is that we're on. So relatively early on in any good play, there's what we call the inciting incident. That's when the play ignites. That's when we really get a sense of what's at stake and what the ride is that we're on. Think, for example, of the appearance of the ghost of Hamlet's father to Hamlet on the battlements in Elsinore, urging him to revenge. Or Macbeth's decision to murder King Duncan and seize the throne for himself. So we're going to watch the inciting incident from David Lindsay-Abair's Good People. That's the play that we saw a clip from earlier, where Margaret in the back alley was with Stevie, her boss, and in that scene, she gets fired. And as a result, as a single mother with a high-needs daughter, she is now desperately in need of a new job. Now, she learns that an old high school friend, Mikey Dillon, has become a very successful medical specialist. So she pushes her way into his office and discovers that indeed he is quite well off and successful, that he's living in a posh suburb of Boston called Chestnut Hills, and that his wife is about to throw him a birthday party. So in this clip that we're going to watch, Mikey Dillon is played by Tate Donovan, and of course Frances McDormand plays Margaret. Let's see what happens.
Can I come too? Is that a yes?
You don't want to come to this party, believe me. You'd be bored out of your mind. A bunch of stuffy doctors and the stuffy wives.
Well, sounds like you need me to liven things up.
Let's definitely do that.
Any of these people hiring, you think?
Oh, yeah, I thought you wanted to celebrate my birthday with me.
Well, that too.
I'm just a job fair to you.
I'm not fussy, Mikey. I'll clean the pool if that's what they got. No shame in an honest job.
I don't think I know anybody with a pool.
You just don't want me mingling with your buddies. But you think I might embarrass you?
Is that how you think I am?
I don't know.
Yeah, you're starting to offend me a little bit with this lace curtain stuff.
Come on, just playing with you.
You wouldn't embarrass me.
No, I know, because you're a good guy. I'm just fussing about, you know. You're good people. I've always said that about you. You are good people, right?
I like to think so.
Of course you are. Helping these babies in here and the nervous parents. Volunteering at the boys club or whatever it is you do. Donate money.
A little bit.
You see, that's a good guy. Giving money to kids you don't even know. That's good people. I know that you would help me if you could. I know you would.
You know, you're welcome to come, Margaret, if the party is that interesting to you.
Oh, what, now I get to come?
I never said that you couldn't.
What'd I do? Bruise your pride?
Yeah, actually, but I'm willing to overlook that and invite you anyway.
No, not if I have to guilt you into it.
You're not. I'll tell Denise to give you directions right now.
What, the Spanish girl with the boobies?
She's Dominican, but yeah.
No, it's okay. I'll let you off the hook.
Wow. I see what this is.
What?
You don't want to come. You just want me to feel bad.
Why would I want that?
I don't know. It's weird how suddenly you don't want to come to the party. Man, I know Chestnut Hill's a very scary place.
Yeah, you got that right. All that money in one town.
Suddenly you don't want to come to the party. Hang out with my weird friends.
Oh, I'll hang out. I don't care. As long as somebody's going to give me a job. They're going to give me a job, Mikey?
Somebody might. Some of those guys have done stupider things. But you don't want to come to the party.
You think I won't?
I think you'll say you will, and then call the next day and leave a message saying your kid got sick or something.
All I just want is a job, Mikey. But if you want to play a game of chicken, that's fine too.
I'm not playing anything.
Stop fucking with me.
I'm not.
Because you're very close to hurting my feelings.
Hurting your feelings? Seriously, come on. If you want to come, you should come. But stop trying to make me out to be this jackass who's forgotten where he's come from.
When is it?
Saturday night.
I happen to be free Saturday night.
I'm not surprised.
Now, why don't you buzz your girl? Tell her I would like directions.
You're not gonna come.
I am now.
Okay.
You don't want me to.
I just invited you, right? Denise, could you send out directions from my house to Miss Walsh? She'll be coming to the party Saturday. No, you cannot.
I'll be taking the tea.
Tea directions. Thank you. Hope you like salmon.
Never had it.
Well, you got it.
All right. This was fun, Mike. Thanks for letting me in.
Like I had a choice.
And if you hear of anything in the meantime, call me, okay? If I work, I'll do whatever.
Okay.
See you Saturday.
Will I?
Oh, yeah. You're in deep now, Doctor.
So, I hope you can see how the play has now truly ignited. So many questions. Will Margaret show up at the party? What will happen if she does? Will she find a job there? And what about all the baggage that's being hinted at between Mikey and Margaret? What's that all about? And most importantly, is Margaret going to find a way out of these dire situations, these dire circumstances that she's in? So we will focus more on this whole question of inciting incident later on in this series. Next time, we're going to focus on creating settings and circumstances. So in the meantime, put your dramatic openings into your electronic or physical family drama series folder. And of course, we'd love to share them out. So post them to your Instagram, tagging us at MTC_NYC, or email them to us at ed@mtc-nyc.org. And see you next time.